That's right, guys, you thought we'd be done after the second installment, but it's time for the third and final part of the Don't Trust Watch Reviewer series. Guys, I feel like I've kind of exhausted everything I've wanted to convey during these past few episodes, but essentially take everything with a grain of salt, formulate your own opinions, use others for perspective, but at the end of the day, do the work to think for yourself, because really all that matters is how you feel about the watch collecting world and about your watch collection and about various watches, because the more people think for themselves, the more fun the hobby will be. We don't need people just, following blindly what another person says to a camera. So yeah, you already know how I feel, but as the episodes went on, I figured, how would I wrap this up perfectly? Well, it would be to ask some of my other buddies, some of my other watch reviewer friends, to kind of chime in and tell you how they feel about this. Because again, we, in the watch world, whether it be you watching it as a viewer or my fellow, my colleagues, people I consider my friends here on YouTube, we don't always agree. We often feel differently about, watch collecting itself and when it comes to specific watches. So I want you to hear from some of my buddies, and I figured it'd be super valuable, and I wanted to film another episode with them. They're all really great guys. So yeah, just grab a snack, sit back and relax, and look at some people that are much more talented and much more handsome than myself. All right, guys.
It's 2:05. Let's get down to business. Hello Jody, hello everyone. This is Jody, not Jody, Jody from the Just One More Watch YouTube channel. Thank you for having me, big man. Thank you for allowing me to catch this hot potato for a couple of minutes before passing it on to the next lucky reviewer. Don't trust watch reviewers. Controversial topic. Surely there's a bit of a conflict of interest in there, but let's crack on. Should you trust watch reviewers then? Well, of course you should, but you should be well aware that they all have inbuilt biases. For example, I'm currently wearing a watch with the word anus printed on the dial, and I don't care because it's a Casio. I love Casio, I always have loved Casio, and I always will love Casio, and that's something that you need to know if you're going to watch my channel and believe what I say. So if you're going to trust a watch reviewer, you need to know about their biases. And then of course there is sponsored content. Without getting too philosophical about it, I study history, and in history you're taught that objectivity is impossible. The best you can hope for is to identify and recognize your subjectivity. Now, YouTube helps all of you out with that by making us place this sponsored content logo on all sponsored content. I go a little bit further. For 3 years now, I've been playing a large siren to let you know about possible subjectivity in any sponsored content. And do not trust a watch reviewer that says, this watch was sent to me for free, but of course it won't affect my review at all, because it will. But in what way? Now, I review watches that I bought, I review watches that I borrowed from subscribers, and I review watches that have been sent to me by the brands. But how do I treat those watches? Do I treat them differently? Do I give watches that I bought a harder time because I paid my own cash for them? Or do I give them an easy ride because I don't want to look like an idiot having just bought rubbish? And what about watches that I borrowed from subscribers then? Do I give them an easy ride because I don't want to offend the generosity of the person that sent me it? Or am I like, not my watch, let's roast it? And finally, what about watches that have been sent by brands? Do I give them an easy ride so as not to offend the brand for a future working relationship? Or do I try extra hard to prove my objectivity and give them a harder time than I would a bought or borrowed watch? It's something that I struggle with just about every single video, and I've been doing this for 5 years now. So should you trust watch reviewers? Yes, of course you should. We're a lovely bunch of people, but make sure you do your own research, and that includes into the watch reviewer. Make sure you understand the brands they prefer, the biases they may exhibit, and if you're keen on a watch, make sure you view as many videos on it as possible and try and aggregate the opinions and the ideas of all of us trustworthy watch reviewers. And if you think you just can't trust us, just turn down the sound and look at the pretty pictures, because pictures can't lie, can they? Can they? And most of all, you should treat every watch review with the healthy degree of cynicism that you approach everything else in life. Thanks for having me, Jody. See you soon.
Hello, welcome to Swiss Watch Game. My name is Marko, the founder of the channel, a watch channel where we review pieces that you never see before anywhere on the internet, or so I hope. Jody, thank you so much for having me on. You asked the question of why should people think with their own mind when purchasing a watch, and not always trust the opinion of us watch YouTube reviewers? That's a fair question. As I always say on my videos, go to the shop and try on the watch for yourself and make your own opinion about it. Because my wrist is different, my background is different, my purchasing power might be different than yours, and also all of our tastes are actually different. I want to touch base on two watches I have in front of me. The Felipe Piculik Piece Unique from Germany and the Hublot Singapore Watch Club Edition with a beautiful classic fusion case. These two watches are not the obvious choices for most people. The Felipe Piculik is basically made by a young watchmaker, obviously named Felipe Piculik. He lives in Berlin and actually makes his watch a lot by hand. So the movement is skeletonized by hand, hand polished, bead blasted. The setting of the diamonds on the dial he makes himself, as well as the whole dial, and I had made a nice disc which basically represents my logo at 6 o'clock. The whole dial is hand engraved and the lugs are diamond studded as well. A unitas movement, for somebody a no-no, but for me I really liked it because it's big. You can also see all the finishing and decorations, and again I like to see the big balance when moving around. For 7,000 euros, not the first choice for many people, but for me, having quite a wide variety of watches in my collection, this was definitely something I wanted to get, and again support young independent watchmakers. The next one is Hublot, a crowd favorite watchmaker to hate. This is a watch that I again connect with people, connect with my connection to the Singapore Watch Club, to the people who live in Singapore. I love seeing this watch. It has a beautiful case, ceramic rose gold, and as well a nice linen dial which is gonna age in time, and obviously Chinese numerals. Hublot is very hated, but again, if you like it, go and buy one for yourself. This is not my last Hublot, as I always say. I want to buy the Richard Olinsky edition with a nice black dial, or maybe a nice old Sean Carter Jay-Z edition. Something very controversial because most people like to buy Omega, Rolex and all these big brands. But if you like a watch, make your own opinion, go try it on and buy it. If I say that this watch is ugly and you really love it, go for it. I think your opinion is the one that matters the most. Of course, it's good to, watch our videos and also take in consideration our opinions, but the end result and the end opinion should be yours. Jody, thank you so much for, having me on this beautiful video with all the other great creators. I hope you're having a good time. Thank you for watching and on to the next one.
Hey, this is Dave from Just the Watch. Jory asked me to come over here and talk a little bit about why it's important for viewers to think for themselves. Hey Gato, nice to meet you. Jory said this needs to be 3 minutes. I'm just gonna ramble off a bunch of reasons. If you could pick the best ones and edit it down to 3 minutes, that would be great. Thank you. Here, reason number 2, I'm not a professional. At this point, maybe I might be considered semi-pro. I do get some money from YouTube ad revenue. But the last time I reviewed a micro brand, I think I got $61 in ad revenue from YouTube on that. And I probably spent at least 8 hours making that video. So I think I made about $7.61 an hour. That's why so many of us YouTubers have to sell merchandise like this awesome hoodie you can get from justthewatch.com. Also, don't forget to get one of Jory's hats over at the Time Teller store. Don't start watch collecting. Gato, I'm too cheap to buy Jory's actual hat. Can you just edit that in? These things are super comfortable. But here's the thing, I don't really have a boss or anybody watching over me. I just put out the content that I want to. And yeah, sometimes life gets busy and I kind of just phone it in on some videos. Point being, I'm not like some professional reviewer who does this for a living and has journalistic standards and all that kind of stuff. I mostly do this because it's fun and I enjoy doing it. Reason number 37, I get free watches. I get a lot of free watches now. But when a brand gives me a free watch, I feel like I have to at least be nice about it, even as I'm trying to be completely honest about what I think about it. I mean, I know some guys like Jory and Ben over at Ben's Watch Club, it seems like it doesn't bother them as much. But this is kind of a weird thing now for guys like us to have so much of an influence in the watch community. So it's really important for you to know what kind of potential influences we might have when we're doing a review. All right, Gato, can you put a mansion or something behind me for this last one? Okay, reason number 42, I'm just a normal guy. So my preferences in watches and stuff just kind of reflect my own personal tastes. And that's also going to have a big influence in my reviews. I have slightly larger than average wrists, so I'm not a big fan of watches that are like 36 millimeters. I'm actually not a huge fan of dive watches. I prefer pilot's watches and field watches. And I've never worn a luxury watch in my life. So all of these things are going to affect my opinions when I do my reviews. But for me, that's actually one of the most valuable things about YouTube watch reviews. I love watching YouTubers who are just normal people. And I love finding people who share my preferences because that's often going to be the best indication of whether or not I like a certain watch. So while there are a lot of things you need to be careful of when you're sifting through YouTube watch reviews, and this is just like a whole crazy new thing where this is how people make purchasing decisions in 2022. I think if you're smart and if you're aware of what's going on, reviews from guys like me or Jory or so many other great YouTubers out there can not only be helpful, but also entertaining and fun. Thanks, Gato. That was way easier than editing my own videos. And thank you, Jory, for having me on the channel today.
And there you have it, guys. I couldn't have said it better myself. Don't trust watch reviewers, except for these guys. All the guys in this episode were really, really cool. And again, I consider them my colleagues. I consider them my friends. Great dudes. I'm going to leave links to all their channels in the description below so you can click on it, watch their content, subscribe to them. They're all incredibly talented content creators. They're all incredibly knowledgeable, and they're just great dudes. So when one of us succeeds, we all succeed. You should be taking in a bunch of content from a bunch of different people. You should be gaining a bunch of perspective from a bunch of different people. You should be reading from different sources. You should be just thinking for yourself at the end of the day. That's all I want to say. So guys, thanks for enjoying this little short mini series. And again, special thanks to my buddies for joining in. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my personal website, thetimetellershop.com, and I will catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman at The Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.